Hey everyone, Greg here. As you may know by now, I'm the co-founder and CEO of TripShock, an online reseller for water sports and tours. For the past 12 years, we've had the pleasure of working with hundreds of operators across the country, and we're looking to grow our community. It's free to sign up, and you only pay when we bring you confirmed bookings. We'll help you reach new customers, fill empty seats, and grow your business like so many have done with us over the years. Head over to partners.tripshock.com to learn more about our program, read testimonials, or speak directly with our supply team. As always, thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 74 of the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. On today's show, we are going to be talking about what to look for when moving locations. And I know Kevin has a lot to share because he just went through this, and that inspired us to have this episode. So, Kevin, what's up?
What up, man? It sucks. We had this like great witty banter. I was like, Greg, you look like shit. And then you're like, yeah, it's because my whole family's sleeping in one room. Because like the thing is, like Greg lost all his money and now he's homeless.
Yeah. We got rug a minute ago when we got here.
Greg lost everything. I bought TripShock. It's going to be insanely more disorganized. Your bookings are going to be completely fucked. Commissions are going to go to 40%. It's going to be great.
Like Kevin was saying, we're having a major renovation. I bought a home that hasn't been updated since 1996, and it just needed some badly needed some updates. So it's literally being torn apart, and we're stuck in one room. And it's just, I got 5 more weeks of this.
I look like when we first got on, like I just looked at you, look so tired, man. I'm like, dude, are you okay, bro? Like, I'm like, is he mad at me? Like, what's going on? What's happening?
No, it's literally just thrown our whole family. We have like a routine, right? And then when you throw the whole routine off, because you don't have, the same access to like your TV room and your kitchen. We don't have a kitchen. So we're having to go out to eat a lot and, making like microwavable meals. Like I just want a home cooked meal.
Why don't you just rent like a place in like Crestview or something, like a trailer for like $300 a night or something, or $100.
Well, we also have to be there. There's so many people going in and out of our house every day. Like you kind of have to be there because we had a lot of like personal items and stuff.
All your Bitcoins are there.
Yeah, I'm on my Bitcoin. Yeah. So.
Oh man, I'm sorry, buddy. That's rough, man. I'd be at like the Quality Inn or something, man.
We might eventually spend like a couple nights somewhere, just to get a break from things. But we're gonna.
Greg, stop.
We're gonna get through it.
Stop being fucking tight. All right, just get a fucking hotel. We both know you can afford it. Again, stop being a tight ass and just get a condo, man. Come on. Cash in some of those FTNs and some of your BTCs and just get a Bitcoin or two and go fucking stay somewhere nice. You've earned it, man.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
Okay, like, don't be talking about my money on the podcast, bro. Oh my God. All right. So
before we get into our topic, I want to talk about the season.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I were kind of going back and forth on text messaging and just kind of chatting about the start of the season. So I've gotten probably 10 calls in the past week from operators wondering why their bookings are not as expected. It's one thing to be down like a little bit. I think a lot, even for us, like we are down pretty considerably, and weather has played a significant role, but more so than that, less people are actually searching for tours compared to last year. In fact, the searches for, things like, things to do in Destin, things to do Key West, things to do Myrtle Beach, like these top of funnel keywords that people search, to book excursions, they're getting far, far less searches than they were than last year. In fact, when I kind of look back at it, we're getting those searches are more in line. The search interest is more in line to 2018 than it is 2019.
Are you at privilege to share? Is that internal? Like
no, that's actually Google. I'm using Google Trends.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you go to Google Trends and you type in like some of these top of funnel keywords and just go back, 10 years, and you can see there's a pattern every year for searches. Like you see, a little bump in spring break, and then the searches go down, and then they go back up in summer. But if you look at 2021, the volume of searches in March is just as high as it was in June and July. You never seen it. If you look back the last 7-8 years, you'll see this pattern. It's almost identical every single year. Then you see 2021, which is totally abnormal. And then 2022, you go back to that normal pattern you see in 2018, 2019, but it's even less. So it's quite interesting. I don't want to stoke fear in people, but there definitely is less searches happening in 2022 than there was 2021. And from the data I'm seeing, there's less searches than there were in 2019 and potentially 2018. So we'll see. Reasons for that, I mean, there's a ton of ways you can slice it. I mean, you got high gas, you have inflation. One of the things I talked about with another operator was, so many people traveled last year. They were just dying to get out and travel. And we know that because we were slammed last year. So what if all those people that took their trip last year, they're one of those people that, maybe they come and visit every other year, every 3 years. Well, they all came that 1 year because they were waiting to go. And now this year, we just don't have the demand. And I think we all kind of knew the demand wasn't necessarily going to be there, but that's one of the things. So, I mean, there's probably 5-6 reasons I can tell people of why we're not seeing the search volume as we projected. But I mean, you got unrest in Ukraine and Russia that's kind of distracted people. There's just a lot of reasons. But I know, Kevin, you said that, things are looking pretty good for your advanced booking. So, maybe it's not necessarily the same across the board. Hey everyone, we're going to take a quick break to talk about our sponsor for the month, the Von Mack Agency. Von Mack is a full-service digital marketing agency with a focus on tour and activity operators. They offer it all: SEO, websites, pay-per-clicks, logos, content writing. If it's online marketing, they got you covered. As we mentioned before, it's uber important to hire an agency that understands our industry, and the Von Mack Agency knows watersports. Trust me.
And they do all the shit that you don't want to do. They do all the shit that you're probably not very good at, and they are. Look, for listeners of the show, America herself is giving a free consult, all right? If nothing else, give her a shout, give her a call, take 30 minutes out of your day. More importantly, take 30 minutes out of her day so she can get you straight on your marketing needs.
That's right. What do you have to lose? Head to vonmackagency.com and go to the Contact Us page to get started. Again, vonmackagency.com. And most importantly, let them know you were sent by the AWG guys. All right, let's get back to the show.
My traffic is up. I mean, I looked at it last night. I went to analytics, and our traffic is up. March is terrible. Numbers wise, though, traffic's there for us. I mean, I'm seeing traffic. I'm literally seeing traffic. I mean, we're having problems like with some of our new offerings and stuff, like any other business would be. We just launched a Jeep company, and, everyone's sold out. You can't get a car or a Jeep, but we're not, So
do you think that you're busy? Is there new things you've done with your marketing that
I'm not at liberty to say right now. Next year I will, when it becomes old. And then I'll resell it like Ty Lopez or Grant Cardone. I mean, man, I've been pressed by some people. Like, maybe you should giving all your secrets away on the show, man, or package them together and sell them or something, because your enemies are using them against you to fuck with you. No,
yeah, but I mean, some of your traffic could be coming from some of the new things you're doing. What I'm saying.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just like we've said in this show 100 fucking times. Like, if you're not gonna cook, then here's the recipe. But you gotta cook. If you're gonna sit back and expect anybody to fucking do your marketing better than you, then you're fucking wrong, dude. Like, I have your marketing, your selling, all of it. You're not just gonna set it and forget it, man. A buddy of mine said, hey, this is the easiest money, man. Renting boats is easy money. I'm like, interesting. I don't think that. I think it's fucking highly stressful, because I fucking, I put everything 24/7 into this, into making sure that, our traffic doesn't get fucked with, that our numbers stay good. And I don't care if I got to get out there with a fucking, what are those signs, those like spinny signs, like when tax season comes, Liberty taxes, like I'll send a motherfucker out there and stop traffic and redirect them. Like we're in Costa Rica and people are just like scamming people to tell them like, if you need to park here to get in the state park. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to anybody, but God, man, if I gotta physically drag someone, put them on a boat, then that's what I'm gonna do. Because what do they say? Like fortunes are made in recessions. When people start pulling back, it's like I tend to want to put the gas pedal down. When I feel like I'm put in a corner, I start working harder. Like I might curl up first thing in the morning and just go fuck, but then I'm going to get up and I'm just going to start hammering everything. Sometimes it's like micromanaging. Sometimes it's me physically getting out there and working, creating content, whatever it may be. Personally creating content. Me and my business partner had this argument the other night. He wants to digitize our waiver process, and I want to keep it the way it is because of the human element that it takes for me when I'm putting out a boat rental, or I'm telling someone to land on the back of a parasail boat, or I'm telling somebody on a snorkel tour how to operate their buoyancy compensator, or they're operating a jet ski. I need to look into your fucking eyes and make sure that you understand exactly what I'm telling you. That human-to-human connection in what we do is so paramount. And no amount of digital marketing, videos, safety videos, or anything other than you as a mariner, you as an operator, looking into someone's eyes and making sure they 100% understand the severity of what they are doing. You don't go jumping out of a fucking airplane and they send you a video and then you just get on the airplane and jump the fuck out. No, I want you to understand you have to be inside this boat rail at all times. Did everyone hear me? Did the little girl sitting there, did you hear me? Because if you decide while mom and dad are looking at a rainbow to crawl out on the front of the boat and fall over and get run over accidentally, that's on me.
Yeah.
And I hate to beat that drum so hard, but I'm going to beat that drum. And that's why I've been about the last few episodes in the last few months, we've been talking about sales, talking, training, educating. Like, make no mistake about it, people's lives are in our hands. And so what is it that I'm doing maybe that other people aren't? I'm still on the fucking ground, man. I'm still giving speeches. I'm still doing gas speeches. I'm still rounding my team up. I'm still making sure everybody fucking remembers what the fuck it is that we're here to do.
Yeah. So just to round off this topic here, it is, it is slower so far. I mean, the data, every data point that I use, it is slow. There's less searches. So, take it what you will, if you feel like you have everything ready to go, then great. But if you're seeing that you're not seeing the traffic, don't just sit there and think, okay, well, that's just the market. It's just low. Find other channels, because you just can't accept that you're just going to do less business. That's so,
Greg, we want to talk about what to do when changing locations, and this all plays into it. So with us moving into a new location, I'm like, this is day one. And I look back at 2018. We didn't have a single direct sale our first year. Our opening season of 2018. This will be our 5th year. I didn't have a single direct sale in March. I didn't have anybody. And that's what I'm like. If you don't take your foot off the gas, when you go to a new location, you are starting from scratch. And whether it's a new location, a new year, a down market, whatever it may be, the moment you become complacent, you are going to get run the fuck over. I can see it in everything.
Yeah. So our topic is, what to look for when moving locations. Kevin just went through this.
Yeah.
And I actually somewhat went through this with the golf cart rental business that my dad and I had. So, Kevin, what are some of the things that you found? I guess let's start with the Google My Business, because that, I think, is one of the most profound changes that you're going to make. And it can be really difficult if it's not smooth. So, talk about that, because I think that's what everyone really needs to know.
we talked about me losing my reviews, right? We talked about that in one of the episodes.
Little bit.
So yeah, so when changing over your Google, your GMB, all right, here's some Kevin marketing ninja shit that you need to know. You need to back up your reviews, all right? You need to back up every single last review that you have. It's something we did when we moved because we knew that this could be a problem. You need to show your location to Google. You need to let them know that you are a real business. And when you move, you need to verify not just your regular Google My Business, but immediately verify your location. You want to show your address. You want to show your signage. You want to show this stuff because this can make because Google might just delete your shit for whatever reason they want. You have no idea. Google has an algorithm change. They have a new update, whatever it may be. And they decide from India, this is not a business. This doesn't make sense. This is not correct. Overseas, somebody that's heading up a project task might look at your business and go, because this might be real. I mean, you can call Google and talk to a representative there. You can talk to somebody at Google, believe it or not. It's not just a website. They have a huge call center. So they look at your GMB, they audit it and think that might meet the criteria for a real business. They just erase it. Now, in my situation, somebody flagged our business as being permanently closed. So I don't know who that was. But to them, I say thank you because I learned a really invaluable lesson. We had to work with Google to get our GMB reinstated, to get all of our reviews back, of which there are hundreds. Losing a location with 20 or 30 reviews is one thing. Losing 600 of them, that's why it's so important that you back them up. So you have them. So you can go back to Google and say, look, I didn't get my reviews back. Yes, you verified my GMB. We moved locations. You're starting me at 0. I have X amount of reviews, and here they are, because they might say, sure, you're reinstated. Go ahead and, get to business. And then you say, okay, well, you guys have my reviews. And they say, no, we don't. We deleted it. Your reviews are gone. So if we didn't have those backed up, they would have been gone.
Yeah.
So get your ducks in a row when fucking with Google. Like updating your GMB, updating your reviews, like all that stuff it's highly important.
Here's a question. At what point do you change over things? Do you change over your GMB before you move or after you move?
I say after. The reality of it is, if you have a contract, if you have a lease, and that's got that's stated, because you have to verify your GMB physically. They're going to send you a postcard. Like Google understand the motherfuckers out there gaming the system. They understand that somebody's going to, because that GMB, that map pack is highly valuable. It's great, great marketing tool. And they understand that people are going to start a website and then try and create a GMB with a fucking PO box to try and get online traffic to their website through their GMB portal. So Google really wants to make sure that local business and their map is highly accurate. Google Maps is an extremely large part of Google. So if their maps are inaccurate, if they're sending you to a place that doesn't exist, that's really bad. This is why when you for just example, in Costa Rica, we had to use Waze because Google Maps in Costa was just so bad. Nothing was reliable about it. So they definitely don't want that happening here. They need to make sure that, all that is marketing money to Google, is advertising dollars to Google. So if that map's incorrect, then they're going to have a big problem. So they're constantly updating and changing their algorithm, auditing their GMB, and making sure that their map is the most accurate, best product on the planet. Because we all know that's their biggest competitor is Apple Maps. And Apple Maps is a horrific reputation when they first rolled out for being super buggy, leading people to wrong places. So for them to have that dominance in the map industry, whatever it may be, is a big thing for Google. It's a big part of their platform. So in order for them to make sure that their customers are served right, you have to make sure that your customers are being served right and that you're operating in accordance with GMB. Because if you're not, and you're trying to do dual listings and get tricky with Google, they'll figure that shit out. We had to be real careful where we were at because they did have multiple of the same business going out of there. Luckily, it never. But if they flag you and they decide to cancel your shit because it looks sketchy because you have 4 of the same business operating on the exact same address, it can get a little weird.
People do so much sketchy shit. You know the thing I hate the most is when the businesses, they use top of funnel keywords to name their Google My Business, like
things to do destined.
things to do destined, to try to capture that traffic. And then, their business is not even named that. It's 2 completely different names, but they're trying to take advantage of that, those top, and sometimes they get away with it. But eventually, I don't think it's a good practice. If you do that with your business, you're successful with it. Keep in mind that someone eventually is going to call you out on that. Because if your business name is not, the name on your Google business profile. So, getting tricky, it might work for a minute, but eventually I think you're going to pay for it. So, all right. So Google My Business, I think, is probably one of the most important, if not the most important thing that you're going to have to think about moving. So,
and the last thing I want to really stamp this home. Like when we opened up our new location, like I treated it as opening up a new location. Like to me, even though we had the history that we had a GMB, that we've been in business, like I had to treat it as though it was a brand new business opening its doors for the first time. So like, we went in, we want to make sure that it's just like day one. We all get complacent, and you cannot get complacent. Like every season, you have to recharge whatever it is that you have to do. And remember, if you don't treat it like day one, somebody else is going to come through and they're going to fucking lap you. I don't care how long you've been in business, because that fire and that hunger and that don't fucking quit, and you're sitting back and you're resting on your laurels. And I'll tell you what, the main reason that our traffic is not taking a big hit right now is because we are acting like it is day one. Last year I had a son and it was like really challenging year, and I could have just sat back and said, hey, whatever. But we're treating it like it's day one, and we're staying hungry, and we're keeping the fire lit, and we're training our people, and we're focusing on sales and focusing on marketing and focusing on customer experience. And this is I don't care if you've been in business 25 years, if you're in business your first year, treat every single day like you're fucking opening up a new business, and you'll fucking crush it.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why you're seeing, such a good start to the season is because it's like a new business that you're treating it. So you're seeing the benefits of that.
That's Ripley. She loves to be a co-host on the show. Well, come on. I got a meeting here in 2 minutes. What do you want? And I got to finish the show. What? Come on.
Can I play on my Switch?
Can you play on what?
My Switch.
You can. No, I found gummy bears in your room. Go on. Scram. I got to go. I got to finish my show. Get out of here. Goodbye. I'll talk to you about it later. She wants her Switch, and I found gummy bears in her room. She was eating gummy bears in her room last night, and she's like, can I have my Switch? Can I have my Switch? No. Kevin's parenting lessons next. There'll be the Kevin Parenting Podcast. There'll be the sound of a smack upside the head, and that'll be the end of every show. Kevin's parenting tips. Smack him upside the head. That'll be fun.
No, I think I almost feel like moving locations every 4 or 5 years is probably a good thing for a business, because it makes you kind of go back and rethink a lot of your direction and things like that, because you're having to almost start over in a lot of ways, with
every way.
Yeah.
Every way, man. We had to start over in every way, man. This is, I feel like we're turning a corner, so I'm starting to breathe easy again. I'm not super angry and stressed out and head in my hands and wondering what the hell I'm going to do and mad at the world. Like, the last year has been really tough. It's not been easy. So, I think the other piece of advice is just continue to create community, continue to do business in the right way, with the right people, with ethics, with morals, treat people how you would want to be treated, and create good business relationships and provide value to your customers. Invest in your employees, invest in your relationships, treat every day like it's new, and things will be great.
Did you have any issues with like permitting with the new location? Was everything pretty smooth there?
A little bit. And then I was like, I need to speak to the manager. No. We went in the back, and Fort Walton Beach is awesome to us. And I just said, I don't know what's going on. They're like, yeah, you have to code. And I said, no, it was real funny because I helped write those rules, me and you, like in the background. And I told him, I said, I'm not on city council or anything, but a lot of those rules came from me, by the way. You know what I mean? Like I was like helped instrumental in this, can brother get a break, and they took me in the back and they looked up my BTR and they gave me my permit and they just said, hey, start building this stuff now, because when it does come into play in 2 years, you have, and I told my whole team, we're going to execute this now. So in the next 6 months, we're 100% compliant when the businesses that have been around in our area that have been given a 2 year, again, we can't just sit back and go, oh yeah, we got 2 years. I got 2 days, because 2 years happens like that. So yeah. What's he say? What's the most interesting man in the world always say? Stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing, we can go into a lot of like more detail operationally about moving locations, but it's not really just moving stuff from one to the other, but it's really just information based, making sure that your marketing, your website's changed, your Google My Business. I think Google My Business is probably the primary thing, informing all of your vendors of your address.
Well, relationships. A lot of
it's operational, but the relationships that you had gave you the ability to
well, not even just that. In your new place, now I'm forming new relationships. At our new location, we got a whole new landlord. We have property management. You know what I mean? We have all these, even though we're like our rocks, we have a long-term lease, we're rock solid, like things are great, but we have to still maintain and build our relationships there with our landlord, with the property management, with the people sweeping up. Like, we have to be an added benefit to that location. Like, if somebody brings in water sports, all they can think of is liability and insurance and all this sort of stuff. So you not only have to reassure them with having all of your ducks in a row and have your paperwork and having all of but you have to make sure you have your SOPs. Are you bringing value to that location? Are you making that location better by being there, or are you being a nightmare? I think some of my problems stem from that. We were too good where we were. Don't get me wrong. We had to get it better. We could have been better, but it was so great that right? It seemed like it was like a wonderful business to start. So it's like this is something that's happened in our region, probably all regions, quite a few times, where the landlord decided, hey, So it's an old story. It's a new story for me, but an old story for a lot of operators here. So that's the thing: provide value, be a good employee, or a good employee, a good tenant, hopefully a good partner. And hopefully that person doesn't say, hey, you're paying them rent, you're doing the right thing, you've created a good relationship, and hopefully they feel the same way about your business relationship that you do. Some people may not. Money is, what do they say? It's the love of money. That's the root of all evil, right? So yeah, maybe there's something to that.
When you move to a new location, do you think it's wrong, especially if you're in a situation where you lost your location because of any reason? Maybe the owner decided to open up their own business, but is it wrong to ask the new location in the terms that, hey, I'm here, no other pontoon boat rental company can come in while I'm here, or the owners cannot, within the terms of this contract, owners cannot like open up a business next to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to add some guarantee that you're not going to see something like you witnessed.
Well, so first of all, it's like they're not making any more waterfront real estate, right? So if you're leasing from somebody, first of all, you already have something that's very hard to come by. So, you really got to trust your gut. It's not, and some people just don't even have an opportunity. You don't even have a shot. Like, this is the only game in town. You have to shop. If you can find, keep on banging down doors. When I was initially there, things were great. Like, the first thing that their manager told one of somebody operating in place was like, yeah, you can rent slips to anything except anyone that doesn't compete with Kevin. As a general rule, that's how you do business. So the moment that they started accepting competition right into the parking lot, and I already knew that something wasn't good. Like, I already was like, man, this is rough, because it's like, usually when you get a lease with the city, it's an exclusive right. When you get a lease with the county, or, they offer so many vendor permits because they realize, one, it's not sustainable. You can't have 30 vendors all in the same area. And, that two, it's not economical. And three, it's unethical. Like it's like when you go into a mini mall, it's like you don't see Pizza Hut, Domino's. You don't see 3 pizza places all stacked up on top of each other. This is the problem with the greed, the density, the whole thing. And it's not, it can't last forever. It's unsustainable. But look, you can operate out of the same arena and everybody can work well together, and that's great. But to have 4 or 5 businesses, everybody wants to sell more pizzas, man. Everybody wants to rent more boats. Everybody wants to grow their business. And so it's like, unless you're like, hey, if you go in there with the understanding that you can have 10 boats here and that's it, and you're going to have 3 competitors and that's it, and you're going to have a 1-term lease, you have to make sure at least that it's clear, that the intentionality is clear. Mm-hmm. And they were clear with me when they started. They're like, hey, no handshake agreements are going to be honored moving forward. They did say that. They did tell me that any stuff that I had with existing ownership and landlords was not going to be honored. So a handshake was not going to be good. And if I can't shake your hand, we can't do business. Yeah. I'm old school like that. So I should have known right from the beginning that was my bad. And that was my mistake. Lesson learned, but it worked out in the best, man. Now I'm in a great place with great people and people that value our relationships and our business relationships. And I don't think we're going anywhere for a long time. And I think things are heading in the right direction. At least I hope they are. That can always change. That's business and that's life. So yeah, man. Well, hey, speaking of business and life, I am going to be super late for a meeting that I got to drive to. So yeah, man. Well, guys, everybody, thank you for listening. I hope you guys gleaned some value. If you guys ever need anything, reach out to us in our Facebook group, Activity TTTT Providers, sponsored by Awkward Watersports Guys. Go give us a like, a review, say something good about us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast info. And as always, guys, thanks for listening and keep it awkward.
All right. Take it easy.